How about then how hot the stove is in the the offseason for baseball? It's hot right now.
Nope.
And we wanted to talk about it because we know we have some Orioles fans on here. And I know people were wondering, hey, maybe Sonny Gray is going to come to Baltimore. He's not. He's actually going to the Cardinals, 3 years, $75 million. And then if you thought Kenta Maeda might be going somewhere, maybe he could be a candidate for the Orioles. No. He's going to Detroit. Then you have other players. So if we're looking around, Kyle Gibson's gone, Lance Lynn, both are actually going to the Cardinals. And there's rumors picking up about Dylan Cease possibly being traded and several suitors, but now you're hearing names like the Dodgers and the Rangers or the I don't even know the heck's thrown in. So my point is, and Rock, we talked about this earlier, O's fans, I hate to be this guy, but if you thought the Orioles were going to overspend for a starting pitcher, you'd be sorely mistaken.
Yeah, they're just not that ball club, not that franchise, not that ownership group that wants to spend the money for a big name free agent. What the Orioles want to do, agree with it or disagree with it, you can feel any way you want. They are going to rely on their farm system to get them where they need to be. And if you look at the teams, I'll say this, and we were talking about a pre-show, Zach and I, and you were in on the conversation as well, Rip, not to get to the World Series, but to win the World Series, I feel like you do have to spend. You do have to spend, and statistically, the last, 5 or 6, 2017 was the last time, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we just brought this up. 2017 was the last time a team won the World Series that was in the bottom half of baseball's payroll. I think the Astros were 17 at the time. We brought it up. You know who was a part of the Astros front office at the time?
Old Mikey boy.
Mike Elias. So if there's a guy that's going to do it and bring the Orioles to where they need to be and where they feel like they need to be and compete for a World Series, it's going to be Mike Elias. I do still trust in Mike Elias. I don't know if there's people out there that don't, but I feel like you definitely do. You're one that believes in Mike Elias, the moves he's made, the pieces that he's put in place for this ball club going forward. And this is a club that doesn't even have Jackson Holliday, the number 1 overall pick, up in the bigs yet. So just wait, be patient. Rip, I think we talked about it. What was the deal? You think it's gonna be a big deadline next season, not this season for the O's, or what, am I wrong in saying?
Yeah, I'm sticking with it. We can really dive into this, and Rocco and I do Rip and Rock as well. If we just talk about Orioles and then rip on each other for the entire time, the whole time. But I think the bigger part that people need to understand here is value. And the Orioles, as much as people want to sit there and go get that guy right now, the Orioles are still trying to figure out a few of their pieces. And you might say that that's crazy. Why not? Well, think about it. Everyone had it figured out that the Orioles are going to move on from players like Santander or Ryan Mountcastle or Austin Hayes. Well, the reality is, how can you replicate or replace those guys? Let's talk about that. Those are all-star type players. How do you replace a Santander that has 30-plus bombs? You think you have lottery tickets in the minors, and the Orioles have the best minor league system, and they have players that can be superstars. But there's no guarantee that it's going to happen. So the Orioles, for trades or moves, they don't want to limit the opportunity to see what they have in their system first. That's why I think the trade deadline next year is going to be something to really eye, unless they go and trade for a pitcher that's under team control like a Dylan Cease.
But you think it's going to be a package of prospects, and that's what they're going to end up doing. They're not going to – I really don't see them spending big on any pitcher, on anybody that's a free agent right now. I see them packaging prospects together, throwing in some of their top prospects in the minor leagues and sending them to a team, that's not asking for a, high selling price. Or – like, if you're throwing Jackson Holliday in there, get the hell out of here. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Well, he's not even going to get thrown in.
He's untouchable. But, looking at trade rumors and everything last year and seeing, reports of what teams wanted, that's just simply not going to happen. Jackson Holliday's off the table, and he will be an Oriole. He's not going anywhere else.
I also, real quick about the Sonny going to St. Louis. St. Louis is, projected starting rotation. The average age is 34.7. Steven Matz is the youngest pitcher, and he's going to be 33 on opening day. By the time we get there.
You make a great point there. And you know why? The Cardinals are in a weird spot. They had a mediocre year, but they also have 2 star players in Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. Their window's closing.
Yeah.
So for the Cardinals, it makes sense. Even though they had a disastrous year, they can go and win the NL Central next year. They could.
Which is weird because it was a fire sale at the trade deadline, getting rid of everyone. Flaherty, Montgomery. They got rid of their reliever as well.
Yeah.
And like
Hicks.
Yeah,
Jordan Hicks.
Yeah, Jordan Hicks, yes.
So that's just where it's at. So for the Orioles in this case, in context, they have a lot of young players that they want to give the opportunity. I still think they need to go out and get they will go get a high leverage reliever. I still think that is a bigger priority than going to get a starting pitcher, because I think the Orioles are better in the starting pitching department than people realize.